Believe it or not, I'm really angry and frustrated right now, even though I'm smiling. I'm so frustrated and it's almost funny. If you've been following me, what's up, everybody? My name is Seth Perler. I've been making videos for a long time. And every once in a while, my software messes up. And today I was making this video on emotional regulation, why it's so important for kids. I'm 8 minutes into the video and it stops, it freezes. The whole video is shot. I have to redo the whole thing. Super frustrating. So I'm going to talk about emotional regulation. And you're watching right now how I'm re-regulating. I am feeling better. I just took a deep breath. I just noticed that. I'm changing my thoughts around the story. Okay, it's okay. Let's get this video out and get it to you and about the people I'm trying to make this for. It's not the end of the world. I noticed my nervous system calming down. Anyhow, I'm going to talk today about emotional regulation, why it's important, what it is, and I'm going to give you 8 tools, practical tools that you can use to help the kids that you work with, whether you're a parent or a teacher. So first of all, why is emotional regulation important? Well, first of all, emotional regulation is part of executive function. The front part of our brain helps us to get things done. And if you're watching this and you follow my work, you have a child or work with kids who have executive function challenges, meaning that they struggle to get important things done that have to be done for their quality of life. They're struggling to get these things done. See, I can already feel my emotions feeling better. I'm having fun doing this again. I'm getting back into the groove. So it's important to learn to regulate emotions. So it's part of executive function. Emotional regulation is part of executive function. And when we can regulate or manage our emotions, when we can be conscious of them, when we can be aware of them, not mindless of our emotions, unaware of them, then we can work with them. When we can't work with them, we can be ruled by them. We can go off the handle. We can make very bad decisions in life. We can be ruled by our thoughts and our feelings rather than working with them. So it's important because when we get dysregulated, it's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. And what our inclination is we're inclined to distract ourselves from it. We don't want to feel uncomfortable. We want to distract ourselves from these emotions. We want to avoid them. We don't want to process them because it's uncomfortable. It's hard. But it works, and it's not as hard as we think when we learn to work with it. So that's why it's important, is because we can be ruled by it, and we don't want our kids to be ruled by their thoughts and their emotions. We want them to make conscious choices in life. So what emotional regulation is it's how we manage or regulate our feelings, our emotions. So our nervous system is designed to keep us safe and detect threats to our safety. And when we feel threatened or unsafe, we become dysregulated so that we can go, and I'm being very basic here, but generally so that we can go into some state of fight, flight, freeze, or fib so that we can protect ourselves. However, sometimes the narrative or the story that we have in our mind is not right size. We've made mountains out of molehills or misperceived a threat or a situation, and this can lead to, making decisions that are not working for us. So that's what emotional regulation is. How we manage emotions, how we manage thoughts to keep them in a regulated place or to process them when we get dysregulated, but to process them in a healthy way, not a dysfunctional way, not a maladaptive way. We want to know how to process emotions. All of you watching here, myself included, we've all had times when we've been so dysregulated, we've made horrible decisions, and we can look back on it now and say, wow, I might have done things differently if I had been regulating myself differently at the time. So we can see that in retrospect. Well, how do we teach this stuff to kids? Let me break down a little bit about what dysregulation is about. When we're stressed, when we're anxious, when we're depressed, even we can have mild emotions. We can also look great on the outside. We can be smiling on the outside, but inside we can really be having a dysregulation. And same with our kids. They can look like everything's fine. They can be a chameleon. They can mask it. But we need to really be attuned and aware to what's going on inside them. Dysregulation has to do with fight, flight, or freeze, our nervous system getting into this state. dysregulation, there are many different theories. There's something called polyvagal theory, which has a ladder that you go up or down depending on where your emotions are. There are temperature checks you can look at, hot to cold, red light, green light, yellow light for emotions. Some people will use the terms rest and digest for when we're regulated, or safe and social for when we're regulated. You can use a 1 to 10 temperature check. So anyhow, the dysregulation is when we're in that state where we're not regulated. We're not making good decisions. Our prefrontal cortex. So executive function, part of executive function has to do with emotional regulation. And our prefrontal cortex, when we're trying to execute or make good decisions or focus or concentrate or pay attention or do important schoolwork or life work or whatever, when we're trying to concentrate on that stuff, but we become dysregulated, the dysregulation takes over. Okay, so your ability to execute, and our kids who are struggling with this stuff, when they become dysregulated, how do you think they're going to do with their attention in class? And if they already have attentional challenges, how are they going to do when they're dysregulated and they're trying to do their schoolwork or their homework or whatever? We have to teach kids how to work with this stuff. So where are you right this second? Let's just do one quick one. Let's look at a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, 10 is hot, it's red. 1 is cool as a cucumber, you're at peace, you're super calm. Where are you right now? 5 is in the middle. So 1 through 5, okay, you're in the bluish zone. And 6 through 10, you're in the reddish zone. And the way that I describe it is once our kids, we get past 5 and we're into 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and when we're dysregulated, it's really hard to get back into the blue zone. And we want to help them build awareness so that they can work with that and get into the blue zone more easily and have tools around that. So where are you right now? Pick a number, 1 through 10. Don't overthink it. And you can do this with your kiddos. Don't overthink it. Where are you? Okay. Now you picked your number. What would it take to get you one number higher? And I always use that strategy because it's manageable to think one number higher. That helps them get into their own tools. But I'm going to give you some other tools. I'm going to give you 8 tools here. And before I do, I'm going to say one last thing. So there are all these different models of emotional regulation. You can look them up. They're amazing models. They're really helpful. The way that I describe my model of emotional regulation is this. You have the story and the body. So I like to break things down very simply. The story and the body. This is my model. The story, the narrative, the mind has a story about a thing. If I see a rattlesnake, my story is going to be, that is a threat. I need to get to safety. If I have a test and I don't feel prepared for it, my story might be, oh my gosh, I'm going to fail this test. Oh my gosh, the teacher hates me. Oh my gosh, my parents should have reminded me. Oh my God. I'm going to have a story, a narrative. My mind has a lot to do with emotional regulation. My perception of what's going on. Now, how real is the perception is the question. So when we're working with myself, with you, with the kiddos, we want to help them work on the story and have tools to work with. How real is your story? Can you really believe everything you think? Is this true? How true is it? Because we can change the story and we can get more realistic stories and not make mountains out of molehills and get things more right-sized. We can work with the story and change our perceptions when it's appropriate, when things aren't as big a threat as we think they are. But we also have the body. So we have a story that there's this perception of a threat, but we have the body. We have our nervous system, physical sensation. And this is where I think a lot of us, even adults, we don't know what the heck is going on in our bodies. We just have the feeling or the emotion. We go with it. We think it's true. And a lot of us have suffered a lot to come to understand that we don't have to listen to every feeling. They are important signals, but we have to filter them and really work with them and not let them rule us. So that's how I talk about it. I talk about the mind, the story, and the body. We need to learn to work with the story, and we need to also learn what the heck is going on in the body and our nervous system, and how can we calm or regulate the nervous system. So here are some tools that I got for you. Number 1, just talk. Literally let the student or child talk it out. And we tend to want to problem solve and lecture and interrupt and use and be rational and be logical and help them not talk about what they're talking about or how. And we tend to invalidate a lot when we talk. So we want to talk in a way where we do what's called holding space. We want to validate. We don't have to agree with what the person is saying, but we want to validate. Wow, I understand. Wow, I'm holding space for you. Wow, that sounds really hard. And stop rescuing or enabling or solving or fixing or all of these things that we're trying to be helpful but are not helpful. So the number one tool is talking. How do we talk? How do we hold safe space so that the person can emote, so that they can process the emotion? We're not discounting it. We're not invalidating it. We're not saying, oh, don't feel that way. Oh, just look at it differently. Oh, but there's so much process. Look, our kids need to process, and they need to know that it's safe and healthy and okay to process. But many of us have grown up in situations where we've been told, don't feel. It's not cool to feel. It's not safe to feel. It's not okay to feel. And we have to really think about, what are we teaching our kids and what can we do here? So that's number one, is talk and hold space. Number two, this is a great one. So good. This one is very simply, I notice. Tool number two, I notice. The words I notice. I notice you're crossing your arms right now. What's up? What's that about? You okay? I notice you just had a really deep breath and your face looks frustrated. What's up? I know, I notice you look happy today. What's up? I notice. So we can notice what's going on with ourselves too, by the way. But we can help notice so that they can begin to notice what's going on in their body, in their mind, in their story, and that they cannot be ruled about it. And we can model also, when we're noticing, we can also model what they might want to do to regulate. So this brings me to the next one, which is breathe. So watch this. Now I'm going to breathe into my belly, then my chest. Many of you watching right now just breathed. Why did you just take a deep breath yourself? Because you co-regulated. You watched what I modeled. Your nervous system saw my nervous system did it, and your nervous system wanted to do that. So you can do that. So you don't have to say to your kiddo, take a deep breath, relax. You can do that yourself, and their nervous system will say, oh, my parent or this adult or this person, they just did something that is telling my nervous system, because our nervous systems are always talking. They just told my nervous system I'm safer than I think I am. I'm going to take a deep breath too and regulate a little bit. So that next one is breathe. So that was number three. Number four is move, walk, play, move. Just moving the body. There's so much pent up emotion, and sometimes we have to just move. We have to move and process this stuff and not stay stuck. Staying still can really be bad. Like staying stuck in sedentary and stuck in video games and not moving can really make the nervous system feel very dysregulated. So move. Number five. Now this one's hard. A lot of people don't want to do this. Meditation. But this is the number one thing that changed my life. The number one thing that helped me regulate emotions when I was going through panic attack disorder and anxiety disorder after I had been in a coma. And I was just panicky all day long. I'd wake up in terror every day of my life for 3 years. And I learned to meditate. And I learned to sit with it. And meditation helps us to listen to the thoughts, the narrative, the story, the mind that I was talking about before, and helps us listen and notice what's going on in the body. So we can sit there and learn to meditate. Now, this is probably, for you adults watching, good for you to learn how to do it. And it's awesome for kids to learn how. It just might be a hard sell until you get some practice with it. But that allows us to become aware of what's going on in the mind and the body. Next one is journaling, which also increases our awareness. Like when we journal, it makes us slow down. And for even a kid to just write 3 things, or for you to journal and start exploring things, it's so powerful, again, to see what we are unaware of. And number 7, do our own deep inner work, our own therapy, our own counselor, our own books that help us with self-development, our own meditation or prayer or exercise or fitness or movement, or our own work on ourselves. The more we're modeling that we care about ourselves and we're working on our stuff, and the more aware we are, the more we can serve our kids. Do you notice the theme popping up in all these, by the way? The theme is awareness. All of these things help with more awareness. The more aware we are, the more conscious we are, the more we're going to be able to regulate emotion. The more unconscious and unaware we are, the less we're going to be able to manage our emotions, and the more we will be ruled by them. Did you think this video was going to be about this? Because it's executive function, but this is all executive function. When we're dysregulated, we can execute. Finally, number 8, last one. It's one a lot of us haven't grown up with. Use emotional vocabulary. Look up feelings lists or emotional words and use these words. Name it. Just naming what's going on with the emotion can help shrink the overwhelm or the dysregulation. Just naming it. So use emotional vocabulary. For example, let's say you say, "Hey Seth, how you doing?" Like at the beginning of the video. "I'm mad. I just wasted all this time doing this video and it got deleted." "Okay, cool, Seth. You're mad. I hear you. Let me reflect back to you. You're mad because this." "Yeah, I'm mad because that." "Cool. All right, Seth. Let me use some emotional vocabulary with you. Where do you notice that in your body?" That's a great emotional vocabulary question. Where do you notice it in your body? And in our culture, it'd be like, "In my body? What do you mean? I'm just mad." No, you're having an experience. What does that mean? You're mad. What do you mean? What does it mean? What it means, well, my stomach is tight. My fists are tight. My face is scrunched up and I have, my eyebrows are coming together and I feel my shoulders tense. We have these physical experiences and we can start getting in touch with that, having emotional vocabulary, words to describe emotion, words to process, things like that. That's really important for us to start teaching our kids so that they have words around it. And again, so that they're not simply ruled by it. I had a feeling, I had a thought, it must be true, I'm going to make this decision. No, I had a feeling, I had a thought, what decision am I going to make? How can I get in a more regulated place so I can make a better decision? How can I work with this stuff? Same thing with even really positive things too, like gladness. "How are you, Seth?" "Oh, I'm glad." "What do you mean you're glad? Where is that in your body?" "What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about." "Well, Seth, you feel glad. That means you feel something in your body. That is an experience. What does that mean?" And we're so out of touch with our bodies. "Oh, okay, I'm glad. Well, I feel light. I feel my smile muscles turning on. I feel my eyes wide. I notice that I'm breathing in a calm way." So we want to use emotional vocabulary as number 8. And when we use that, we're modeling that. We're modeling awareness. We're helping them. So anyhow, I just wanted to recap. I wanted to tell you why it's important that we teach kids to regulate emotion and how it's part of executive function, what it is and what it isn't, and what dysregulation is, some different models, what my model is with the story in the body, and then some tools that you can use. And you can start using them right now. Anyhow, my name is Seth Perler. I'm executive. I don't even know if I told you who I am because I messed up the first video and I got dysregulated. Give it a thumbs up if you like this video. That helps me get the word out. Subscribe, share it, leave a comment. What do you think? Can you think of another tool that helps you or children or students regulate emotion? What's a tool that I left out that might be helpful for people to know? And what else came into your mind? Leave a comment below. That's enough. My name's Seth Perler. Go to my site, sethperler.com. Subscribe there. Got a bunch of free tools for parents and teachers there. This is my life's work. I'm really glad you're here. Oh, you know what? I got an Executive Function Summit coming up in August, by the way, executivefunctionsummit.com. Go check it out. Sign up. It's free. It's awesome. Got a bunch of experts to help you. Take care. Be well. Have a great day.